Good afternoon, Cross Timbers. Today is Friday, November 16, 2012. This is Texan TV News from Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas, and I am Monet Gerald. For today's headlines, the death of Don Richard Henneke, Stephenville man found not guilty of indecency with a child, a veterans parade ends in a train crash, British Petroleum agrees to pay record fine, signs mount impossible Israeli invasion of Gaza, charges dropped on Bon Jovi's daughter, results of the Buffalo and Miami game, New York and San Antonio game, and a preview of the Taco Bell Texan Tip-Off Classic, and the weekend weather report. In campus news, Associate Professor of Animal Science and Wildlife Management and Director of Equine Science and Equine Center Manager, Dr. Don Richard Henneke, has died. Henneke died last night after a battle with pancreatic cancer. According to Tarleton's Equine Science program page, Henneke held a bachelor's degree from Oklahoma State University, a master's degree from Louisiana State University, a PhD from Texas A&M University. Henneke served as a manager of commercial breeding operations in Oklahoma, a winning racehorse owner, a certified American Quarter Horse Association steward, a successful non-pro cutting horse rider, the president of a director of a National Cutting Horse Association affiliate, and a successful horse producer. Dr. David Snyder, a colleague of Henneke's, shared his thoughts on Henneke's career, stating, "He built that equine program basically from the ground up. Dr. Henneke came in and did a fantastic job of building up the equine program so that it was nationally recognized." Snyder added that Henneke was loved and respected by his students. In local news, Joseph Lee Garner was found not guilty of indecency with a child Thursday in the 266th Judicial District Court in Erath County. Garner's court-appointed lawyer, Blake Thompson, said Garner has been waiting a long time for his day in court, but Garner is not yet a free man. He remains incarcerated in the Erath County Jail, held on 2 other counts of failure to register as a sex offender and indecency with a child by exposure. Erath County District Attorney Alan Nash was disappointed in the trial outcome. Today, a guilty man was found not guilty, though this does not mean we are going to stop trying to protect the children of this community. We are going to keep working to get guys like this off the streets. The victim's family was also disappointed in the verdict, but with the court case behind them, they hope that the child can start the healing process. The mother of the victim said she believes justice will eventually prevail. She said she believes Garner will get what's coming to him. She said other charges are pending, and she hopes the evidence will be sufficient enough to find him guilty. Thompson has been appointed as Garner's attorney for the other 2 cases. In state news, the AP is reporting 4 people are dead and 17 others injured after a train collided with a wounded veterans parade float in Midland, Texas. Union Pacific spokesman Tom Lang said the train was sounding its horn before it hit the float that was sitting at a railroad crossing around 4:40 p.m. yesterday. Lang reported that the crossing gate and light were working at the time, but he does not know if the train crew saw the float approaching. Midland City spokesman Ryan Stout said 2 people died at the scene and 2 more died at Midland Memorial Hospital. Officials say 6 people remained hospitalized Thursday night, and at least 1 person was in critical condition. The parade was scheduled to end at a Hunt for Heroes event. And now today's national and international news from the Associated Press. In national news, British Petroleum has reached a settlement with the federal government and agreed to plead guilty to multiple charges linked to the oil spill that took place April 20th, 2010. The oil giant has been ordered to pay a $4.5 billion fine and will plead guilty to charges involving the 11 deaths and lying to Congress about how much oil was spilling out of the well. The fine is the largest criminal fine in the history of the United States. The settlement with the federal government comes 2.5 years after the drilling rig explosion that set off the nation's largest offshore oil spill. Investigators say the explosion was caused by time-saving, cost-cutting decisions by BP and its drilling partners in cementing the well shaft. The AP reports that costs for the company could climb much higher. The U.S. government and the Gulf states are seeking billions of dollars in civil penalties over the environmental damage under such laws as the Clean Water Act. BP rig workers Robert Kaluza and Donald Vadrine were indicted on federal charges of manslaughter and involuntary manslaughter. The men were accused of repeatedly disregarding abnormal high-pressure readings that should have been indications of trouble just before the explosion. Former BP Vice President David Rainey was charged with obstruction of Congress and making false statements. Prosecutors say he withheld information that more oil was gushing from the well than he let on. In international news, an Israeli aircraft targeted rocket-launched operations of Gaza militants early this morning. Troops, tanks, and armored personnel carriers gathered near the Palestinian territory, signaling that ground invasion could be growing near. Fighting between the two sides escalated Thursday with the first-ever militant attack on the Tel Aviv area, threatening Israel's heartland. No casualties were reported there, but 3 people died when a projectile slammed into an apartment building in southern Israel. The death toll in the densely populated Palestinian territory reached 19, according to Palestinian health officials, including 5 children. Waves of Israeli fighter planes and drones sent missiles hurtling on suspected weapons stores and rocket launching sites. Early today, 85 missiles exploded within 45 minutes of Gaza City. The military said it was targeting underground rocket launching sites. In entertainment news, the Associated Press is reporting that Stephanie Bon Jovi's charges of drug possession have been dropped. The daughter of John Bon Jovi was found unresponsive by emergency medics early Wednesday when she allegedly overdosed on heroin. The 19-year-old student at Hamilton College was in her residence hall when police charged Bon Jovi and a friend, Ian Grant, with possession of small amounts of heroin and marijuana. Charges were dropped due to the Good Samaritan Law. The law was passed in July of 2011 and allows people to call 911 without fear of getting arrested themselves if they are involved in illegal activity in order to reduce the number of overdoses. Now for sports. According to the Associated Press, the Buffalo Bills beat the Miami Dolphins last night 19-14. This was the Bills' first win since 2007 without scoring an offensive touchdown. Ryan Lindell was 4 for 4 kicking field goals, and Leodis McClellan scored a 79-yard touchdown on a punt return. Miami drops their 3rd straight game as they struggled to a 4-6 record, and the Bills improved to 4-6 on the season. The New York Knicks edged out the San Antonio Spurs 104-100 last night at the AT&T Center in San Antonio. The Knicks finished the 4th quarter on a 20-11 run to improve to 6-0 on the season. The Knicks are at the top of the Eastern Conference, while the Spurs fall to 7-2 and second in the Western Conference. Top performances were Raymond Felton of the Knicks with 25 points, 3 rebounds, and 7 assists. Tony Parker of the Spurs had 19 points, 6 rebounds, 12 assists, and a block. Tarleton Sports Information reports that Tarleton State hosts the Taco Bell Texas Tip-Off Classic today and tomorrow. After losing their first game of the season since 2001, the 0-1 Tarleton State men's basketball team looks to rebound tonight against Texas Permian Basin Falcons. The game begins at 7 p.m. and they will play again tomorrow at 7 p.m. against East Central University Tigers. All games will be hosted at Wisdom Gym. Now for the weekend weather according to the Weather Channel. Today, expect a high of 65 and a low of 37. Saturday, expect a high of 65 and a low of 42 with a 10% chance of rain, and Sunday, prepare for a high of 69 and a low of 50. Today's broadcast was produced by Travis Allison, Houston Hall, Chelsea Sapolio, and Alyssa Wynn. You can follow us on ustream.tv/user/Texan News Service. Don't forget to tell your friends about us and become a fan of Texan TV News on Facebook. I am Monet Gerald. Tune in Monday for the latest news from the Tarleton State University campus in Stephenville, Texas. Have a great weekend.